You're watching Your View.
Thank you for joining us. This is Scott Kaplan and Crew Tonight. The very best from today's Scott Kaplan and Crew show on the mightier 1090 AM. SoCal Sports Talk. Here's Scott Kaplan, Alex Padilla, and John Browner.
Hey, great friends. It's a Tuesday afternoon here on Kaplan and Crew. We come to you from the 7 Mile Casino Studios. 7milecasino.com is the website. And as I've told you many, many times, just a few minutes from downtown San Diego, the beautiful Chula Vista Bay, blackjack, poker, Sammy's Restaurant and Bar, that incredible menu. What a spot. 7 Mile Casino and 7milecasino.com. So if you're just getting with us, Browner, you had been talking about Scottie Pippen and his jealousy towards Michael Jordan, and Pippen coming out and telling people that the only reason Jordan even did that 10-part documentary a year and change ago is because he wanted to prove to the world yet again that he's the bigger star and he's got the bigger and better brand than LeBron James. So you were in the middle of a Scottie Pippen rant about how jealous he was about not getting paid for the documentary, and I was going to try and make an effort here to bring that whole story back to Von Miller, who was traded to the Rams yesterday. So I'm going to try. Where were you in all of this? I'm trying to remember exactly where you were before we hit the break.
I was basically saying that Scottie Pippen needs to stop this. The level of pettiness and jealousy surrounding Scottie Pippen's latest actions are that of a man trying to distract and that of someone who is hurting for attention.
Mm. So I guess my whole transition into Von Miller is not really going to work so well, is it?
No. But Von Miller, I heard a story about Von Miller if you would like to hear it.
Well, it's really funny. Yesterday afternoon when this Von Miller thing started to go down, and I'd say it probably started in the mid-morning. Wouldn't you say it was probably around 10:30, 11 o'clock yesterday? Mm-hmm. We started to hear the rumblings that Von Miller was about to be traded from the Denver Broncos to the LA Rams. And I thought to myself, like at first thought, Von Miller has been, over the course of, say, the last 10 years or so, one of the more dominant pass rushing defensive end outside linebackers in the NFL. And what's kind of interesting about it is he's also one of those guys who's not really prototypical in size. He's not 6'5", 260. You know, he doesn't have that Myles Garrett sort of body. He's kind of shorter, like maybe 6'2"-ish, maybe 250. I love the idea of putting him together with Aaron Donald on that defensive line and letting him just go out and try to wreak havoc on quarterbacks. This will be an interesting week, by the way, because with the Rams hosting the Tennessee Titans without Derrick Henry, this game has lost some of its luster, and the Rams have got to win this game because you just can't let your guard down while you're in the middle of this. You know, they've played like the Giants, the Lions, and the Texans in 3 weeks. I mean, they've had a preseason, and I was looking at the Rams schedule. As a matter of fact, Alex, you might even be able to pull it up. The Rams have the Titans this upcoming week, which was a game that everybody was looking forward to because we wanted to see what would happen when Derrick Henry might try to steamroll Aaron Donald, because Aaron Donald is 6 feet, probably 285, like just yoked and ripped. But Derrick Henry's like 6'3", maybe 6'4", like 250. Like those two head-to-head would have been really interesting, but there's no Derrick Henry now. But when this story started to happen, here's the schedule. Because let me tell you something. The Rams, the move yesterday to get Von Miller, to me, tells you everything you need to know about the Rams, which is, and hold the schedule there for 1 second. They're ready to go for it now because they saw Tampa Bay win the Super Bowl in Tampa Bay's home stadium last year. And with the Super Bowl being in SoFi Stadium this year, the Rams want to play in that game. The Rams want to win that game. The Rams know that if you're going to get to the Dodger-Laker level with LA's sports market, it's going to require a Super Bowl. And if you could win a Super Bowl in your home stadium, in the first ever Super Bowl in SoFi, in the first year where fans are allowed back in, if the Rams could win the Super Bowl this year, they immediately elevate to, and I don't want to say the historical level, but the local current level of Lakers and Dodgers, which is what they're trying to do. And you know what the other thing they're trying to do is they're trying to bury the Chargers, because the Chargers had a couple of weeks in there. You know, they had a couple of games. They beat Kansas City. They beat Cleveland. And the country was starting to buzz about the Chargers. People in LA were starting to talk about the Chargers like, oh, this is kind of an interesting thing to look at. And I warned everybody, oh, don't worry. It's coming. The crash is coming. And it has over the last 3 weeks. Baltimore, they got destroyed. Then they had a bye week and people stopped paying attention to them. And then this past week, you saw what happened to the Chargers at home in front of all of those Patriot fans. But then the Chargers yesterday come out and they put out a video announcing that they've got this brand new home base that they're building in El Segundo. Hey, we want to be next to the Lakers, right? We want to be right next to the Lakers, and we want to be right next to the LA Kings. So we're going to build a multi-gazillion-dollar football facility. I have a question. Who the hell is paying for this? If the Chargers can't pay for all this other stuff that the sister, Dean Spanos' sister, is taking Dean to court, if they can't pay charities that they've made commitments to, who the hell is paying for this? Because the last time the Chargers had a facility built, it was built by the city of San Diego. Who is paying for this new Charger super football facility? And people have been getting to me on Twitter, and they're like, what do you think about this, Mr. Salty Hater? And I'm like, I love this. If this thing gets built and the Chargers build this new super football facility in El Segundo, not too far from LAX, not too far from SoFi Stadium, not far from downtown LA. If the Chargers build that facility, if and when that building gets done, good. You know what that does for the Chargers? It increases their value, and somebody is going to want to buy the Chargers from a team and an ownership group that can't afford to be an ownership group. And Fred Mass, just one other thing. Hey, Fred Mass, didn't the Chargers hire you to help them build a stadium in San Diego? Because now I'm starting to think that the reason they hired you was to not build a stadium in San Diego, and your deal must be take me with you to LA. Because, man, Fred Mass was the guy who was supposed to be the answer man in San Diego. He just left with those guys and went up to LA. He's in all these videos.
Chief of Staff.
Crazy.
That's his title.
Yeah, crazy.
Should I play it so you can see all these beautiful faces that we haven't seen in a long time?
I don't want to put any Spanos on the air.
Okay.
All right, look, this all gets back to Von Miller, though, and it gets back to the Rams schedule. Put the schedule back up, and let's just take a look at this real quick. If you're the Rams, here's what you think about your remaining schedule this year. Okay, Tennessee without Derrick Henry. What'd you say, Alex?
A lot tougher.
Well, but let's talk about that for a second. Tennessee's a better team than Houston, Detroit, New York for sure, but without Derrick Henry, what are they? I'm not sure yet. Then they play at San Francisco. Not a very good football team anymore, are they?
Nope.
Then they go to Green Bay. Now, that's the game of the season for the Rams. Then they come home to take on weak-ass Jacksonville. Then they go on the road at Arizona. So they have, in my opinion, the Rams have 2 games that they have to look at on the schedule and say, can we get home field advantage throughout the playoffs? You can if you can go to Green Bay in late November and win that game. And they can if they go to Arizona in mid-December and they win that game. Otherwise, the schedule is San Francisco twice, Minnesota.
At Baltimore.
And at Baltimore is a good one as well. Minnesota's middle of the pack. Seattle's not what they once were. Jacksonville is garbage. Tennessee doesn't have Derrick Henry. At Green Bay, at Arizona, at Baltimore. If you can win 2 of those 3 games, you might have home field advantage throughout the playoffs. Can Von Miller help the Rams do what is very obvious to see what they're trying to do? Weak schedule for the most part. Super Bowl in SoFi Stadium. Super Bowl in Los Angeles. First time ever in their new stadium. The Rams want to play in the Super Bowl based on the schedule, based on the acquisition of Von Miller. I'll throw it to you 2 guys. Can they do it?
They better, because they are all in. You know, if you're going to give up 2, whatever you think of draft picks, if you're going to give up a second and a third for Von Miller for a rental, like the way the Dodgers, like that's a failure for the Dodgers when they went all in on Max Scherzer, but they did get Trey Turner. Right here, they went all in on Von Miller. You better win this year. And you're looking at this Rams schedule, Scott. For me, at worst, 13-4 this season. Like that's the schedule it's set up. Like I think they'll lose in Green Bay. I think they'll lose in Baltimore, and they might get tripped up on a divisional game, maybe Arizona, Seattle with a healthy Russell Wilson. For me, at worst, 13-4.
I think a game like the Green Bay game is going to be a huge test for them. But other than that, in another game against the Cardinals, I don't really see anybody on that schedule with the way that they're playing right now. Barring any injury, obviously, I'm sure both of you guys feel that way. But barring any injury, other than Green Bay and Arizona, again, I don't really see anybody on that schedule with an added Von Miller that's going to be able to do much against them. Because Von Miller coming off the edge and Aaron Donald coming up the middle, like that's going to be a problem. And don't forget, Leonard Floyd is still on this team.
Right.
Leonard Floyd was a great pass rusher last year.
He's leading the team in sacks.
Yeah, this year too.
Yeah, he's leading the team in sacks, and he's got 6.5. Hold on one second. Let me say this. I want to play some of Von Miller for you, and I also want to talk to you about the story that is circulating around Denver as to why Von Miller wanted out of that Denver Bronco locker room. But before I get there, let me talk about iThrive MD. I spoke to Dr. Samir Damani, and I said, Doctor, we came up with this idea of of reducing the price by 50%. And we only did it for about 2 weeks in the month of October. And when we did it, here's what happened. I started to get emails from dudes who were listeners. I started to get text messages from dudes who were listeners. One guy was like, okay, Kaplan, you finally got me. You got me. 50% savings from $289 to $145 for testosterone treatment. I'm in. Next guy, and this is a former NBA player who lives here in San Diego, who actually went to the previous testosterone clinic. Don't even get me started on those guys, okay? Because if I really went on the air and told you what they did, everybody would immediately leave and come over to iThrive MD, which is what you should do anyway. But that being said, I got this former NBA player who said, hey, should I really be leaving the place I started and coming over to iThrive MD? And I said, listen, the thing about iThrive MD is it's a whole different level, a higher level of service. You have all of these doctors and medical professionals that are not just there to stick you with a needle and say, here's your testosterone. It's about your longevity, your overall wellness. It's not just simply about testosterone. And the thing I've been bragging about are the NAD injections. If you are a low energy kind of person and you're trying to figure out what's wrong with me, the NAD injections, I'm telling you right now, your energy will be off the charts. So I want you to make an appointment with iThrive MD. The website is ithrivemd.com/Kaplan. Here's the phone number, 858-240-1497, 858-240-1497. If you have what you think of as brain fog, if you are not clear-minded, if you're not energetic, if you're experiencing depression, if you have erectile dysfunction, or you just don't have quite, you're not virile like you used to be, could be low testosterone. First thing they're going to do, give you a testosterone test. It's free. The next thing they're going to do is they're going to say, look, if you need to get onto a course of testosterone, instead of it being $289 a month, it's only $145 a month for the first 3 months. You're saving 50%. So please do this for you. Do this for your family, because there's a lot of other health issues that happen when your testosterone's low. And then there's a lot of positive health things that happen when your testosterone is right. Call 858-240-1497. 858-240-1497. Make an appointment before Thanksgiving, please, because after Thanksgiving, this 50% deal is going away. There's no way that they can keep doing this, okay? Make that appointment now. All right, let me get back to Von Miller. I called a friend of ours yesterday, Alex. You know Brandon Cristal in Denver.
Yes.
Brandon is a guy who we've known for a long time. He covers the Broncos. He's literally at practice and in the locker room every single day. I said, hey, Brandon, what are the Rams getting in Von Miller? And he said, well, they're getting a guy who the first 3 games started off really good and is certainly statistically slowed down. Well, yeah, the first 3 games they played against the Giants, the Jaguars, and I don't know, somebody else who stinks. Anybody remember? But the 3 teams were like 0-9 when the Broncos were 3-0.
Jaguars.
I think I said Jaguars, Giants, and somebody else.
Jets.
Yeah, I think you're right. So here's what Brandon tells me, though. He goes, do you know the story? I said, no, what story? What's the story? Apparently, Von Miller last Monday night threw a Halloween party.
Mm-hmm.
You guys have heard about this, right, Browner?
Mm-hmm.
I have not.
This is unbelievable.
This is ridiculous.
This is crazy. So Von Miller throws a Halloween party on Monday. Halloween's coming up on Sunday. He's throwing a Halloween party the Monday prior to.
Okay.
You know why? Because the players have Tuesday off.
Mm-hmm.
So he can throw a real rager on Monday night. So Von Miller throws his party. And Browner, I don't know if you saw this, but Migos performed.
Quavo from Migos, yes.
Oh, okay. Quavo, and I thought they had some other big like A-list kind of an act.
Sounds like a great party.
Okay.
Sounds
So they
bomb.
Yeah, so they're having this party, right? And I guess the party cost a fortune to throw. So Von Miller tells his teammates, everybody come to the party. And all the teammates are like, well, great, Von, we appreciate it, man. You know, you're like a big star. You made a lot of money. You've done television commercials. You're a Super Bowl champion. Von's throwing a big-ass party. This is going to be bomb. Until Von tells everybody, each one of you guys needs to put in $4,000.
Even if you're not coming.
Right. Von Miller told everybody in the locker room, everybody here, this is not my party. This is the Broncos Halloween party.
But I planned it.
Right.
I booked the talent. I booked out the club. I invited the women. I'm just making all this up. But he literally, this is according to the story, he told every Broncos player, so figure there's 50, 60
All
guys.
56?
Yeah, everybody here owes me $4,000 because the party's going to cost $250,000, $300,000, $400,000, whatever it is. The players were like, hello, $4,000? Like, we all just assume that everybody's a multi-gazillionaire and they're just handing out money in an NFL locker room.
Right.
Some of those guys are making league minimum. And they're
Some of those guys don't know who the hell Quavo is.
Yeah, right.
That too.
But like, can you get like Kenny Chesney, and then I'll put in my 40
and
my
Quavo.
4,000?
Yeah. So the point is that Von Miller told his teammates, you're all on the hook for $4,000 apiece. When some of the teammates were like, I'm not going and I don't want to go and I'm not putting in any money, he then went to like their captain's meeting. I don't know how many guys there are in the Broncos locker room that are considered captains. And the party had already happened. And he was like, everybody needs to get me my $4,000 per teammate. And they were like, Vaughn, not everybody went. Not everybody wants to be a part of it. Not everybody's putting money in. According to the report, Von Miller told him, if I don't get my money, I'm going to turn into a monster distraction inside this locker room. I called Brandon Cristal, who alerted me to this story. He's like, dude, it's all true. The whole story is true. He expected everybody to pay, and he told the Broncos and their captains, if I don't get my money, I will blow this thing up.
Hey, man, listen, let me
So they traded him?
So they traded him. Like, we got to get him. We got to get rid of him. In fact, we want to get rid of him so badly, we'll pay $9 million of his $9.7 million. And you know what the Rams are getting is they're getting a $100,000 a week rental, not even like $75,000 a week for Von Miller's services.
Look, man,
cheaper for
Broncos
the family to pay the $4G.
Right, the Broncos could have just cut the check for the $4,000, and everybody could have gone their way. Von Miller, you a clown, bro. If this story is true, you a Halloween clown. You the worst kind of clown. You the trick, no treat kind of clown. How in the hell are you expecting for people to put $4,000 down on the party they ain't going to? He expected all the rookies to pay. Mm-hmm. And in addition to that, the quote for Quavo, this could be inaccurate, but apparently a club quote for Quavo is between $100,000 and $150,000. So what that means is if you're going to have him perform, you need to give him between $100,000 and $150,000. So Von Miller's made up about to $90 million. So after taxes in Scott's world, he probably got like $30 million. He got it. Like chill, bro. Throw a party for the Broncos, pay for it. Like
this is the most elaborate way to get out of a team I've ever heard of. I thought OBJ was doing it a weird way.
Listen, no,
this is a great way.
OBJ did the right way. Had his
at least
daddy
Von
post
got a
video,
show out of it.
Listen, OBJ probably paid somebody to cut that video, gave it to his daddy to put it on the internet, then text LeBron's like, yo, I need you to back me up on this. And LeBron went out and backed him up on it. But what Von Miller did, that's low, bro. That's low. That's low. And then you go tell the team, oh, I'm going to wreck this locker room. For what? Because a Halloween party, bro? Get out of here.
Was this story widely known? Was this story widely known?
I got an article. I got an article
on the Rams. I don't want that.
So the story came.
Parties are more expensive in LA.
The story came from a Miami journalist. So it's easy to probably track down who told this journalist that story. Just find out who played for the Dolphins last year and now plays for the Broncos. It's very easy because why would a story about Denver come from Miami? Like, huh?
I'm reading it right now. A source with direct knowledge of the situation tells Pro Football Network that Miller became upset when teammates declined to kick in for his annual Halloween party. It's a massive affair with a six-figure price tag. This year it featured Quavo from Migos. Miller's request for financial help came as a surprise to his teammates. They had assumed they were invited guests to the party, not co-hosts. Miller even wanted rookies to contribute several $1,000s for an event that they had no role in planning. Miller's earned over $90 million in his career, threatened to disrupt the Broncos' locker room chemistry over what in his mind was an unpaid debt. The head coach and general manager became aware of the rift, and that may have factored into the decision to move the 8-time Pro Bowler.
You
This is the dumbest story I've ever heard. The dumbest. And and the NFL provides lots of dumb stories. It's the dumbest. Like, if I'm the Rams and I knew that, I don't want him. I don't want him.
No,
I barely want him.
I still want him. No, I still want him.
Listen,
I actually think
the more I think about this trade,
Kroenke got that money.
The more I think about this trade, the more I hate it, to be honest. Honestly, dude, like, I think Von Miller is not Von Miller anymore. I genuinely believe that. Like, he will have help now, because we did say he's got
a massive amount of help.
Right, but
like, you can listen,
is he that much of a game changer
for
the Rams?
This is why I still make that deal.
He was. Will he still be? Go ahead, Brenner.
Right.
With the added addition of Aaron Donald and Leonard Floyd, he's going to look like old Von Miller, because you can't chip him, you can't double him, because you got to do that for Aaron Donald, or you got to figure out how to block somebody like Leonard Floyd coming from the other side.
I'm looking at the Rams team. I'm like, dude, go get a linebacker.
You won't
like a
need
middle
one.
linebacker. Yes,
won't
they
need-
do.
you
They
won't
got
need 'em.
nobody.
Well, hold on.
They just traded one away.
Well, hold
to
on.
get cap space.
Let's keep going. Let's keep this going. But hold on. Coming up next, is Phillip Rivers about to be back in the NFL as a starting quarterback? Hold on. You got to hear this story. You got to hear this. Coming right back on Kaplan and Crew.
We'll be right back with more of Scott Kaplan and Crew tonight. The very best from today's Scott Kaplan and Crew show on the mightier 1090 AM. A new generation of radio. SoCal Sports Talk.
You're watching Kaplan and Crew tonight, powered by the mightier 1090 and Your View, featuring the best sports talk in SoCal. Brought to you by Team Mazda of El Cajon and by Prospect Home Finance.
Rich Eisen here, inviting you to catch my show, The Rich Eisen Show, on our flagship radio station, the mightier 1090. We're on every Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to noon Pacific time. You'll like what you hear. If not, that's just, I guess, too bad.
A new generation of radio. The all-new and mightier 1090.
SDCCU is an engaged community partner. Each year, SDCCU is proud to support many nonprofit organizations throughout Southern California. Our partnerships allow us to help shape the financial lives of many through volunteerism, financial support, and creating public awareness. The result is a big impact on the communities we serve. SDCCU, it's not big bank banking, it's better. Federally insured by NCUA. Find out more at sdccu.com.
Great things can be achieved when a community comes together. Join Erica Cardenas on Doing More as she introduces you to ordinary people working side by side to confront tremendous challenges and make a positive impact in their community. Watch Doing More Sunday night at 6 on Your View, or stream it online at yourview.com. Are you or someone you love living with dementia? Get free support from the experts at Alzheimer's San Diego. Visit alzsd.org or call 858-492-4400. Brought to you by Team Mazda of El Cajon, where your trade-in is always worth more. Just off I-8 in El Cajon.
Up to 30% of COVID-19 patients become long haulers with persistent symptoms months after the infection.
What I've been finding with my patients is that it's taking up to 3 to 6 months for them to recover their endurance, exercise capacity, and get them back to work or to their usual activities of daily living.
What I wasn't able to do was the basic needs, like brush your teeth, take a shower, because of the shortness of breath, the tightness in my chest.
The symptoms that concern me the most, the shortness of breath. So restrictive. You know, you go through and you just take for granted that, you know, you're gonna breathe. And when that gets taken away, it's a scary thought. Unfortunately, I'm 6 months out now from my diagnosis, and I'm still suffering from several of the symptoms.
My experience with the patients I've sent to La Mesa Rehab has been extremely positive. The patients come back with good reports, and when I see them in the office, their exercise capacity has improved dramatically.
I'm getting there because of La Mesa Rehab.
Teatro means theater in Spanish, and in Portuguese, and in Tagalog, and in Italian, and in so many languages. We have a lot of communities, a lot of culture here, so that is the reason why teatro is in the name. The mission of Teatro San Diego is to provide arts education to underserved communities, specifically in schools. Our goal is also in tandem with arts education to provide a professional theater company and dance company so that the community can see themselves reflected on stage at the professional level. Places like Subaru have really been so supportive and have helped us come up with projects like the AMI project.
I was so honored to be at an event a few days ago and heard some of the songs from it. These guys rock. This is just an amazing thing that everyone needs to see.
Hey, Dave Smith here. Make sure you listen to my show on the Mightier 1090, 6 to 10 p.m. Saturday and Sunday night. The only local sports talk in all of Southern California on the weekends, right here on the Mightier 1090.
The all-new and Mightier 1090.
My name is John Alicio, and I'm managing partner of Procopio. Procopio is the largest San Diego-based law firm, and we're proud to be a part of this event, the Salute to Teachers. Without the teachers, none of us would have had the success we've had. You know, our firm consists of about 200 professionals and 200 attorneys, so a total of 400 mostly San Diego-educated professionals. Without you, we'd not be winning the cases we win as we go toe-to-toe with the best attorneys in the world. So thank you on behalf of Procopio for what you do and how you do it. And a special personal thanks to my alma mater, Valhalla High School, and the teachers at that school. Without you, I would not have had the personal success I have had. So from Procopio, thank you for what you do and how you do it. Salute.
Congratulations to the San Diego County Teachers of the Year, Laura Reyes, Heather McLean, Jacqueline Jourdain, Zy Sanders, and Tiffany Jokerst.
This year has provided a mountain of challenges, but every mountaintop is within reach if you just keep climbing.
Cox Presents Salute to Teachers is proudly sponsored by these charitable companies.
It's playoff time for the USL Championship. Let's go ahead and take a look at where things shook out for Orange County Soccer Club and the San Diego Loyal after the final week of the regular season. OCSC got the win against the LA Galaxy 2 last weekend, 1-0. The win was their 5th consecutive victory. The Loyal closed out the regular season with a 1-1 draw with Sacramento Republic FC. Alejandro Grito scored the equalizer in the 67th minute to get the Loyal one more point on the season. The Pacific Division ended up with the Phoenix Rising in first place, OCSC in second place, and the San Diego Loyal in third place. OCSC will host the Colorado Springs Switchbacks on Saturday in the Western Conference quarterfinals, while the Loyal will match up against San Antonio FC in the Lone Star State in their quarterfinals match on Friday. That's your 60-second timeout. Now back to more Kaplan and Crew Tonight.
Kaplan and Crew Tonight's 60-second timeout is presented by Team Mazda of El Cajon, where your trade-in is always worth more.
Still on his feet, Jared Williams. Swift is in the end zone. Touchdown, Wildcats. He's at the 40. Is he going to go? Goes, holds it in. What a catch. Big return left sidelines off to the races. He flips the defenders into the end zone. He's got a man. Wildcats. That was pretty.
Game Time High School Football on Your View is brought to you by Team Mazda of El Cajon, where your trade-in is always worth more. Just off I-8 in El Cajon.
There's a difference between just getting there and enjoying the journey. At Team Mazda of El Cajon, we put you in the driver's seat of the best cars around. From our stylish crossover SUVs to our classic sedans and sports cars. At Team Mazda of El Cajon, your good credit and trade-in can turn into the Mazda of your dreams. Start enjoying your drive with a new Mazda today. Visit Team Mazda of El Cajon.
We'll be right back with more of Scott Kaplan and Crew Tonight. The very best from today's Scott Kaplan and Crew show on the Mightier 1090 AM. A new generation of radio. SoCal Sports Talk.
You're watching Kaplan and Crew Tonight, powered by the Mightier 1090 and Your View. Brought to you by Team Mazda of El Cajon And by Prospect Home Finance.
Yo, great friends. It's a Tuesday afternoon here on Kaplan and Crew, and we're happy to have everybody along. For those of you that are listening on the Mightier 1090, 50,000 watts blasting from here in San Diego, north through Orange County, into and north of Los Angeles, into Ventura County, Santa Barbara, the Central Coast, really blasting all throughout Southern California. So anywhere you may be, if you turn on the radio and you put it on 1090, we are back. And I hope my man Adrian, who was the guy who came to my house this past weekend to move me out, who had that big SD tattoo on the top of his head. Yo, Adrian, I hope you're back and you're listening back on the airwaves of 1090. For those of you that catch us on YouTube, I tell you guys this every day. You are the heart and soul of what we do. Today's Tuesday. Mondays are usually really big days on our YouTube channel. And yesterday we had a great chat going. We had a lot of people in there. I will say this to all the YouTubers. When we send out a tweet from the Kaplan and Crew account, dude, retweet it, comment on it, like it. I mean, circulate it. So get other great friends to know that the show is back and it's on, whether it be on YouTube, radio, whatever. For those of you who catch up to us tonight on television, on Channel 4 San Diego, part of the Cox Yorview Network, anywhere in Southern California where you can hear the radio show, you can see the TV version. Channel 4 in San Diego, you head north, Channel 118 in Orange County. You keep going, Channel 118 in Palos Verdes. And if you get to Santa Barbara, we're on Channel 4 in Santa Barbara as well. So radio, YouTube, television, and then, of course, for those of you that like to get it on audio podcast, Apple, Spotify, maybe you like Stitcher, Amazon Music, Google Play, TuneIn. And believe me, I don't even know all these audio podcast platforms, but every day somebody else tells me that they're listening. And I'm like, well, where do you listen? And they tell me some podcast platform. I'm like, I don't even know what that is, and I don't know how we got there. But we're there. So for everybody watching
Facebook
and
podcast?
listening. Yeah, what's up with Facebook podcast? I see Facebook's always sending me messages. They're like, yo, you can put your podcast on Facebook. I know we do a lot of clips on Facebook that get a lot of reaction, especially about things that we're going to talk about, like what's coming up right now here in the 7 Mile Casino Studios. Guys, we mentioned it before the break. Is Phillip Rivers about to come back to the NFL?
Yes.
So, yes.
Yes.
Yes. Okay, let's go back to the beginning of the story. The Colts got Carson Wentz. Carson Wentz got hurt in training camp. The expectation was he was going to be out for like 8 to 12 weeks. That did not happen. He came back to the Colts much faster than expected. At the time, Sam Farmer, the NFL reporter from the LA Times, he went to Phillip Rivers and said, hey, Phillip, you led the Colts to the playoffs last year. You won 11 games. Any chance that you might come back to the NFL? And Phillip Rivers said, well, gosh darn it, dad gummit. You know, I'm coaching high school football now. I'm down here in the state. I'm my favorite place. I got my family down here. I'm really excited. I'm really happy about this team. I'm really excited. But baby. And then what happened was people started to buzz around like, well, maybe the Colts will get Phillip Rivers because Carson Wentz is hurt. But Carson Wentz came back really quickly. So now Sam Farmer goes back to Phillip Rivers and said, hey, Phil, you know, you're an Alabama guy. Your high school football team is, I believe, right across the state line in Florida. But the high school football season is going to come to an end here pretty soon. And you were talking about possibly going back to the Colts when the high school football season's over. But now the Saints have a problem. And the Saints are right nearby. The Saints have no Jameis Winston, gone for the year with a torn ACL. Their backup quarterback, who's really more of a gimmick quarterback, Taysom Hill, is out with a concussion. They're into their third quarterback, Trevor Siemian, who helped lead them to victory over the Green Bay Packers, which is, you know, kind of a crazy win, right? I mean, nobody saw that coming, did we?
Yes.
Oh, we did?
Different story, though, but I'll explain later.
Okay. So now Sam Farmer of the LA Times goes back to Phillip Rivers and said, Phil, would you go to the New Orleans Saints? And he said, Dad gummit, this high school football season was over. I'm almost going to think I'm ready to come back and play. I got to get myself into good shape. I'm still ready to go. My family won't mind. I'll be in New Orleans. Like, yeah. So Phillip Rivers, the rumor.
Not a rumor.
Possible? Well, when I say rumor, I mean, you know, not a rumor. You're right. He actually said it.
Right.
But the storyline is Phillip Rivers would consider going to the New Orleans Saints.
Phillip Rivers would consider going back to any NFL team that called, I believe. It's got to be the right situation. It's got to be a playoff team. But, I mean, before the season even started, he was like, hey, I'm going to finish this football season as a coach in Alabama, right? And once that's done, I will stay ready. He said that in August. So why are we surprised that this opportunity very close to Alabama pops up to a contending playoff team with a great coach, offensive-minded coach in Sean Payton? Why would he not be interested in this? If he said
No
in
one.
August that he was ready to do it in August.
No one should pick him up. No
You
one
a
should
hater,
pick him
bro.
up. No. I'm not a hater. If you have a guy who's been in your locker room, not Taysom Hill, because obviously he's hurt and I also think he's trash, but I wouldn't even bring him in to play quarterback and not let Taysom Hill do it. Like, you've had guys in camp, you've had Trevor Siemian in camp. He's proved that he can be serviceable. Why would you go get a guy who's coaching high school football to do what? To do what? He has no knowledge of the system that the Saints run. Now, if you told me he was going back to the Colts, I'd say, okay, I can get with that. He was on the team last year, but going to the Saints, who more than likely run a completely different offense. I know he's smart. He's a great football player at one point in time, but at some point it's over. Like, no.
I want to ask you a favor, John. Please stop like thinking of things in a pure football perspective. Think of things in the world of content and how fantastic this would be for us
But
and
you gotta
you and
understand,
me.
I create my own content. I don't
No,
need
I
Philip
know.
Rivers to do that for me.
No.
I make it up as I go, baby.
But this is just like
I make
can
the
you
takes.
imagine? Can
I'm
you
the
imagine?
I like the cake maker. I'm the take maker. Okay.
Okay,
I don't need no Philip
but
Rivers.
I will argue your point. How about this then? You're telling me that Philip Rivers right now
Mm-hmm.
cannot come in and give you over 1,000 yards passing in 7 games started? Because Jameis Winston got you
He can do that.
1,170 yards of passing, and you're still 5-3, 5-2, whatever they are.
Philip
Like,
Rivers can do that.
Philip
Like,
Rivers comes in, and this is just a pure football, like no content behind me. Philip Rivers comes in, and even if Jameis Winston was still there, he's the best quarterback in the room. He's better
No.
than Jameis Winston. He's
No.
better than Taysom Hill, and he's damn sure better than Trevor Siemian.
At one point in his career, absolutely he was better than Jameis Winston.
Last season,
Not tomorrow.
season, Philip Rivers threw for like 4,500 yards and like
Mhm.
25 touchdowns last year with the Colts.
Okay.
Without T.Y. Hilton, with like really there's really not a good receiver in Indianapolis.
Okay, and now, but then you're gonna follow that up by telling me you're expecting him to come in now with no training camp, with no work with these receivers,
Yes.
and do what?
And do better than Jameis Winston did. Easily.
You see,
Easily.
I disagree with that. Now, you
Jameis
asked me, could he come in and put up those stats? I think he could put up those stats, but are those going to result in wins or losses? I think those are more losses.
I think they're winning. I think that's where I'm coming from. That's what I'm telling you. I think they're winning despite their quarterback situation. Where I think Rivers
They're 5
comes
and
in
2.
and helps them.
Okay.
They're 5-2 right now, and I said Trevor Siemian helped them beat Green Bay. He helped them beat Tampa Bay. Different Bay. Thank you.
Both good Bays, though.
Yeah, they're all right. Here's my opinion. Okay, I think Philip Rivers is the kind of guy that over the course of the last, let's call it 3 months, August, September, October, it's not like he probably packed on 30 pounds. You know, I'm guessing that Philip Rivers the whole time, this is just a guess.
Looks good.
I'm guessing the whole time Philip Rivers was probably thinking to himself, look, I have the itch. We talked about Indianapolis in the early part of the season. That situation has handled itself. But I'm going to stay in decent shape. I'm going to throw the ball every day on the field to my receivers, my high school receivers. I'm going to keep my eye on what's going on around the NFL. And if the right situation presented itself and it checked the boxes, are they a playoff contender? Check. Is it close to home? Check. Is it a coach that I think I could work with? Check. I mean, I think that Philip Rivers, I'm not saying he was working out in the gym like it was the offseason. He was getting ready to try and make a Super Bowl run. I'm just guessing that if Philip Rivers right now said, look, coach, Jameis Winston's gone for the year. Taysom Hill's dealing with a concussion situation, which makes that a fluid situation. We don't know how long it will take or what he'll be when he comes back. And Trevor Siemian is not the long-term answer. But if it's today, November 2nd, And Phillip Rivers told the Saints, I can be ready to join you guys in 3 weeks. If Phillip Rivers throws the ball every day in high school football practice, gets himself on a Stairmaster or goes for a run every day, I believe he could walk into the Saints and be in good enough shape to play. Then it's an emotional thing and it's a mental thing. It's teach me your offense, teach me the terminology. Let me, start going out on the practice field and throwing to the receivers. Introduce me around and let me get to know everybody. I guess what I'm ultimately saying is this. I believe Phillip Rivers could walk into the New Orleans Saints and engineer their offense equal to or greater than what Jameis Winston has already done to help get them to 5-2. Now, Browner, it's just an opinion. I don't know for sure. Right. I mean, Jameis Winston was in training camp. He was on the team last year. He knows the personnel. He knows the offense. He knows the language of their offense. Phillip Rivers, I mean, he knows football.
Sorry.
No, I'm curious to know where you were going. I mean, he knows football enough to say, look, coach, if you can simplify it for me and you can take the playbook from 100 plays to 25 plays week 1, I'll catch up 25 plays at a time. And by week 3 or 4 that I'm your quarterback, we're going to be in late December anyway and headed towards the playoffs, or at least that would be the hope. I think Phillip Rivers could do it. I really do.
So his high school football team finished the season. They're done. 6-3.
Oh, they are.
They are already done. So I was going to tell you this morning, he joined the opening kickoff on WNSP FM 105.5 to discuss the Saints situation. This is direct quote from Phillip Rivers when asked about the New Orleans Saints and the interest. He says, I saw a lot of those things yesterday. It was interesting to see. Like I told you guys 6 or 8 weeks ago, I'm going to stay ready in case the perfect storm hits. There's nothing to it, in quotation mark, the Saints talks. It was fun to see yesterday. So that's where maybe Sam Farmer caught this, and then Sam Farmer texted Rivers and said, if they call, I will listen. So to answer your question, Browner, I don't know what kind of shape that means he's staying in, but he's staying in some shape. And he said he's going to be staying in shape.
I mean, he should always stay in shape. He's a healthy guy. He's got a lot of kids. He needs to be in shape. But as far as look, man, I hope he does play for someone because the Washington football team can definitely use a quarterback. Like there are a bunch of teams who could use his services. I just don't know what the position that they need to be in for him to get off the couch and go do it. That's all I'm saying.
Here's some more quotes for you boys. This is from this morning like I said, on this radio show he did. He said, there's been no dialogue, but you can't shut the door on anything. Although I still stick by it, it's a super slim chance. It takes a team to want you, first of all. It's got to be the right situation for our family. The Saints are a heck of a team and will definitely be a contender down the stretch. Coach Payton and what they've done over the years with Breeze over the last few years has been unbelievable. They've been in the mix each and every year. He says, I would need a little time physically, but not much.
Wow. This is an interesting story. When Jameis Winston got hurt, it never even crossed my mind. Like, you know what they should do? They should hurry up and call Phillip Rivers.
I thought they were going to get into the Deshaun Watson mix. I really did. But they didn't.
That would make sense.
But yeah, I mean, if they're asking for a ton, I get it. But I just listen, dude. I was looking forward to seeing Jameis Winston, and I make the joke, but seriously, I was looking forward to seeing him with LASIK eye surgery. Like the dude couldn't see, and he threw 30 touchdowns in the league. So I was thinking he was going to be able to do it, but he's just not all that great. Or the Saints' wide receivers are that bad, one or the other. I just think Phillip
Rivers made a lot of really bad wide receivers, or let me rephrase that. Phillip Rivers made a lot of really unknown wide receivers, really good wide receivers when he was with the Chargers, the San Diego Chargers.
So my thought now, with Jameis out for the season, he's not there. He won't be there. Rivers is better than Taysom Hill at quarterback. Rivers is better than Trevor Siemian at quarterback. That's what so if I'm the Saints, I call him and see what he says and go from there.
All right. Interesting story. Phillip Rivers, could he return to the NFL now that his high school football season is over? Think about what is going on in his mind right now. He's like, I went from the NFL where I had all these great years as a player and I made a ton of money. And my goal, because he's a hometown kid, he didn't love the big city. He didn't love all the attention. That was never his deal. I know I've told this story before, but when the Super Bowl was in San Francisco, this is the Broncos, Peyton Manning, and against Cam Newton and Carolina. Probably about 3 or 4 weeks before the Super Bowl, I got a call from one of the executives at CBS Sports. I was still working at CBS at the time. And I remember that year, I do believe it was 2016. I have to check exactly when the Super Bowl was. I'm almost positive I got my years right. But, we had done a number of Charger games that year broadcasting. And every time Philip Rivers would come into the meeting room, he would leave, and every one of us would go, man, he'd be great on TV. And then after the games, that would be the post-game interview. I mean, if you're on TV, you interview the quarterback. So Rivers did plenty of post-game interviews with me that season. And like I said, it's probably about 4 weeks away from the Super Bowl or so. And I get a call from one of the execs at CBS, and they said, hey, you know Philip Rivers, don't you? And I'm like, yeah. And they're like, we want to get him to do some Super Bowl stuff with us. We want him to be on the Super Bowl broadcast. Can you call him and ask him if he'd be interested in doing that? And I said, sure, I'll call him. I go, but I'm just cautioning you guys in advance. I'm like, this guy, when the season's over, all he wants to do is go hang out with his family. He wants to go play a full court basketball game with all of his kids, and he got enough to do it, So they're like, well, we don't want to go through the agent. We would rather just go directly to Philip. So I said, okay. So I didn't call Philip Rivers directly. I called Bill Johnston, who at the time was the Chargers PR guy. And I said, hey, CBS wants Philip Rivers to be part of the Super Bowl broadcast. I think it'd be really great if he did. And it would also be a good time for Philip to continue to push saving the Chargers in San Diego. This is what I was thinking. And Bill Johnson's like, you know what? This is a great idea. Let me see if I can get Philip to do it. They called Philip Rivers, and Philip Rivers, it wasn't even like, let me think about it. How much time? Where do I need to be? How much will they pay me? There was not one question asked. It was no. It's the off season. I'm hanging with my family. I don't want anything to do with the Super Bowl. I don't want anything to do with broadcasting. I'm out. So I got to figure that right now in Philip Rivers' mind, he went from the adrenaline rush of playing quarterback in the NFL to how do I fulfill my football Jones? Well, go become a high school football coach, which is always what he wanted to do. But now the high school football season's over. So what do I do now?
I want to be in this house with 9 kids.
I'm a football player, right? I had high school football to occupy my time, but now I don't. So what do I do? And if there's a job available this late in the season where I can walk in, learn the offense, and help a team that's in contention, I'm in. If the Jacksonville Jaguars called him and said, hey, could you come be the backup and mentor our young quarterback? No. If the Chicago Bears called him and said, hey, we want you to take the beat down rather than our future. No.
That's messed up.
That's
messed up, man.
That was a quick jab
That
in
was
the ribs
unnecessary.
real
That was
quick.
very unnecessary, sir.
That's great.
All I'm saying is I just don't I think that this is very realistic. That I think
like,
Philip
didn't we
Rivers
say that
could
in
do it.
August too? We said it in August. Like, it's got to be the perfect situation because he said it. And I think this is a perfect situation. Mike Thomas comes back healthy. They've already had their bye week, unfortunately, so they don't have like a week off. So yeah, I think by Thanksgiving he's your starter, and he's going to get you through or try and get you through to the playoffs.
I
This
like
team, that's
Browner's
a good
skepticism
team,
here.
man.
Browner ain't buying this. Browner's not buying this at all.
No, dude, because one of the things that he was known for was the death knell interception. And that was with a training camp that was with knowing the offense. So now imagine the guy not knowing the offense, not knowing the tendencies of the wide receivers and the running backs, the offensive line, and just chucking the ball up because he thought a guy was going to go left and he went right. Like, I think you would be better served going with a person like Trevor Siemian at this point again, because he's proven himself to be serviceable. In Washington, Tyler Heineke ain't the guy. Like, Washington makes more sense to me than New Orleans does. But would he go to Washington knowing that division is pretty much wrapped up?
I don't think
No,
so.
It's got to be a playoff team.
Yeah.
It's got to be a
but that's
playoff
what I'm
team.
saying.
It's got to be an offensive-minded team. It's got to have the right coach. I think Sean Payton makes it work. I think Sean Payton doesn't get enough credit for how great of a coach that dude is. And I genuinely that's probably why. Because I trust Sean Payton. I don't know who the offensive coordinator is in Washington. I don't know who the offensive coordinator is in a lot of teams. But I know Sean Payton. I know what he's done. So you say he's serviceable, Trevor Siemian. It's because of Sean Payton, not because of Trevor Siemian.
If they don't have a person that that's probably better for him, because then he can come in and say, hey, I want to do this, I want to do this, I want to do this. You're not going to the Saints and saying, hey, I want to do this.
You don't think Sean Payton's going to be comfortable enough to be like, Philip, what are you good at?
Well, Sean Payton has an offensive coordinator, a guy by the name of Pete Carmichael, that has been with him, I'm telling you, through the entire Drew Brees era. Like that guy, Pete Carmichael, you never hear his name for head coaching jobs. He's never a hot candidate. He's just the right-hand man to Sean Payton.
And isn't like the city he lives in, Alabama, closer than San Diego to Orange County? Can't he just drive that every day too?
He's probably still got the van. He could be studying his film in the back of the van. All right, stick around. Let's throw all of these NFL things by John Clayton, including a big story about a Raiders wide receiver, a DUI, a death, and a whole mess. John Clayton coming up next on Kaplan and Crew.
We'll be right back with more of Scott Kaplan and Crew tonight. The very best from today's Scott Kaplan and Crew show on the mightier 1090 AM. A new generation of radio. SoCal Sports Talk.
You're watching Kaplan and Crew tonight, powered by the mightier 1090 and Your View, featuring the best sports talk in SoCal. Brought to you by Team Mazda of El Cajon and by Prospect Home Finance.
Hey, it's Pharrell here, inviting you to catch my shows on the mightier 1090. We're on twice every Monday through Friday, 1 to 3 p.m. and 7 to 9 p.m. Pacific. Trust me, all the other sports stations are sleeping with your wife.
The all-new and mightier 1090.
Great things can be achieved when a community comes together. Join Erica Cardenas on Doing More as she introduces you to ordinary people working side by side to confront tremendous challenges and make a positive impact in their community. Watch Doing More Sunday night at 6 on Your View or stream it online at yourview.com. Sponsored by The Barnes Firm, partnering with Shelter to Soldier and saving lives 2 at a time. Visit thebarnesfirm.com/shelter to soldier and help save more lives.
Still on his feet, Jared Williams-Swift is in the end zone. Touchdown, Wildcat. He's at the 40. Is he going to go? Broncos holds it in. What a catch. Return left sideline, off to the races. He flipped the defenders into the end zone. He's got a man. Wildcat. That was pretty.
Game Time High School Football on Your View is brought to you by Team Mazda of El Cajon, where your trade-in is always worth more. Just off I-8 in El Cajon.
There's a difference between just getting there and enjoying the journey. At Team Mazda of El Cajon, we put you in the driver's seat of the best cars around. From our stylish crossover SUVs to our classic sedans and sports cars. At Team Mazda of El Cajon, your good credit and trade-in can turn into the Mazda of your dreams. Start enjoying your drive with a new Mazda today. Visit Team Mazda of El Cajon.
It's playoff time for the USL Championship. Let's go ahead and take a look at where things shook out for Orange County Soccer Club and the San Diego Loyal after the final week of the regular season. OCSC got the win against the LA Galaxy 2 last weekend, 1-0. The win was their 5th consecutive victory. The Loyal closed out the regular season with a 1-1 draw with Sacramento Republic FC. Alejandro Grito scored the equalizer in the 67th minute to get the Loyal one more point on the season. The Pacific Division ended up with the Phoenix Rising in first place, OCSC in second place, and the San Diego Loyal in third place. OCSC will host the Colorado Springs Switchbacks on Saturday in the Western Conference quarterfinals, while the Loyal will match up against San Antonio FC in the Lone Star State in their quarterfinals match on Friday. That's your 60-second timeout. Now back to more Kaplan and Crew tonight.
Kaplan and Crew tonight's 60-second timeout is presented by Team Mazda of El Cajon, where your trade-in is always worth more.
Arash Markazi here, inviting you to catch my show, The Arash Markazi Show, on the mightier 1090. We are on every Monday through Friday from noon to 1 p.m. Pacific time. Join me and producer extraordinaire G. Wiley, where we chop up Los Angeles sports and try not to piss too many people off.
The all-new and mightier 1090.
From fitness to medical technology, explore how people are leading healthier lives on Your Health. Join Erica Cardenas as she introduces you to health experts and discover how our daily choices affect our well-being. Plus, learn simple tips for healthier living. Your Health, Sunday at 4:30 p.m. on YourView and YourView.com. Brought to you by La Mesa Rehab, improving the lives of those afflicted by chronic obstructive pulmonary disease. Learn more at LaMesaRehab.com.
Wilsey Asset Management is an investment advisory firm registered with the SEC. We're a firm that's a fiduciary firm, and we manage $500 million in assets for clients and businesses nationwide. We do better when our clients do better. You want to have a win-win situation. And I saw the same thing with charities. Some of the charities that we're involved in would include Cruise for Kids. Another organization that we really helped a lot was Children's Hospital. And there's also other organizations that we help as well in addition to those.
Kind of growing up and seeing how involved my dad was in the community, it really rubbed me, I'm going to say, in the right way. I did kind of take that one step further, I would say, and actually did start my own charity. It's called the Fighters Fight Foundation. What we do is we actually provide experiences to women that are battling stage 3 or stage 4 breast cancer. Our charity is not just about providing the experiences for women, it's also too on educating people. If you want to get involved in the foundation, you can go to our website, fightersfightfoundation.com.
At La Jolla Cosmetic, we try to help people achieve well-being, and we feel that it's not only important to look good, but also feel good inside. And honestly, what a better opportunity to help my community than being a supporter of an organization such as Las Patronas.
The mission of Las Patronas is to provide financial assistance to local nonprofits that are providing valuable community services in the areas of health, education, social services, and cultural arts. La Jolla Cosmetic has been one of our biggest supporters at Las Patronas, so we couldn't do what we do without their support.
You feel the need and you see the need because we go to visit each grant applicant.
Partnering with groups that are actually dedicated to help your community, it's the best thing that you can do as a responsible business.
Shelter to Soldier is 9 years young with a mission to save lives 2 at a time. We're adopting dogs from local shelters, training them for post 9/11 combat veterans, and we're able to donate these trained dogs to deserving veterans in need.
You know, I was in a very dark place. I was having suicidal thoughts, and I really needed an immediate help. We don't know if tomorrow is going to be there for us.
Shelter to Soldier is a nonprofit, and we're able to do the work that we do because of you, the community. Whether it's an individual donating $5 or whether it's a corporate donor like the Barnes firm that's supporting us and sponsoring multiple dogs that are going to make an impact in the veterans' lives in need.
Him by my side 24/7 has completely turned my life around. It's not just saving both of our lives, it has made an impact on myself, Nigel, my family, my work. So yes, they definitely have saved our lives.
You're watching Kaplan and Crew Tonight, powered by the mightier 1090 and YourView, featuring the best sports talk in SoCal. Brought to you by Team Mazda of El Cajon and by Prospect Home Finance.
Wilsey Asset Management is an investment advisory firm registered with the SEC. We're a firm that's a fiduciary firm, and we manage $500 million in assets for clients and businesses nationwide. We do better when our clients do better. You want to have a win-win situation. And I saw the same thing with charities. Some of the charities that we're involved in would include Cruise for Kids. Another organization that we really helped a lot was Children's Hospital. And there's also other organizations that we help as well in addition to those.
Kind of growing up and seeing how involved my dad was in the community, it really rubbed me, I'm going to say, in the right way. I did kind of take that one step further, I would say, and actually did start my own charity. It's called the Fighters Fight Foundation. What we do is we actually provide experiences to women that are battling stage 3 or stage 4 breast cancer. Our charity is not just about providing the experiences for women, it's also too on educating people. If you want to get involved in the foundation, you can go to our website, fightersfightfoundation.com.
Attention, all dogs, cats, horses, tortoises, birds, pigs, and all other pets. Get your family members to sit, stay, and watch Animal Zone every Saturday at 9 p.m. right here on this channel and at animalzone.org.
Tune in Saturdays at 9 p.m. to watch Animal Zone right here on YearView.
Thank you for joining us. Catch Scott Kaplan and crew tonight from 7 to 8 p.m. Pacific every Monday through Friday. The very best from today's Scott Kaplan and crew show on the mightier 1090 AM. A new generation of radio. SoCal Sports Talk.